that's my job as the leader of GoBundance, is to make sure that we have a buffet available and readily choosable by our members at any given time. Not everybody's going to want the salad and not everybody's going to want the steak, but both of them are going to be there because somebody may want this, somebody may want that, and somebody might want both. And so that's just a delicate balance that I'm going to have to continue to navigate and lean on the elders and lean on the members and lean on the council a lot about, because I think you need optionality and you need members to be able to choose their own journey or their own path through the tribe. I want the tribe to hold myself, the Go team, the leadership, and the members extremely accountable to every aspect of what GoBundance stands for and represents, which is the 6 pillars.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. Today's guest was just recently named CEO of GoBundance. In fact, at one point, this guy was GoCrew. So really, maybe the title of this episode is going to be From GoCrew to GoBundance CEO. He's elevated from pretty much an assistant all the way up to the chief of staff running everything in the David Osborne organization. He's been on this podcast before when we talked about going from visionary to integrator. Go check that episode out. But now recently named CEO. So we're sitting down and talking to him about what's going on in the future of the tribe. So Matt King, welcome, brother.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me. I'm honored to be a part of the tribe, and now I'm honored to be named as CEO of the tribe. I think at the end of the day, the tribe is a member-led, member-driven tribe. So really the way I look at my role is just to sort of help stand at the front and make sure that the ship is going in the right direction, but to take feedback from everybody on the ship to where we're steering and where we're going. So it's an honor, it's a privilege, and I'm super excited about what the future holds.
Got it. I love it. For those that are listening on the podcast, we are broadcasting this live in the GoBundance Facebook group, kind of a unique event that we're doing kind of live in the Facebook group for the members, but also repurposing a good chunk of it as a podcast. So excited about that. And as a reminder, go to GoBundance.com, apply for membership at any level. We've got a community for you, man, woman, millionaire, non-millionaire. Just go to GoBundance.com and check that out. That's my public service announcement. Matt, good. Let's start with this. So we recently had the change. Obviously, Chris Ryan is the outgoing CEO. You're the incoming CEO. Why now? Why the change? What precipitated the change from the elders? Whatever you're able to share, willing to share. Talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think as organizations evolve and as things develop over time, there's change that happens and it occurs naturally. I mean, whether it's the head coach of a football team, obviously don't take into account the New England Patriots because Belichick's been there forever, but people change, things change. Organizations have to evolve and organizations have to continue to evolve over time to make sure that they're serving their highest and best purpose. And the elders of GoBundance, along with Chris, have made this decision that at this time, this decision was best for the tribe in order to sort of continue to cultivate and navigate a culture of the 6 pillars that GoBundance was built on. And in order to remain a member-led, member-driven tribe, we're going to double down on culture, and we're going to double down on listening to the membership, and we're going to double down on delivering value. And Chris is an incredible human being. I have a ton of respect for him, and he did an incredible job of what was supposed to be an interim role for 90 days that turned into about 2 years. But it was just time for a change, and it was time for a new leadership to step in and hopefully take what Chris has done and Mike McCarthy and Dirk Van Reenen and Rock Thomas and all of the past CEOs of GoBundance and continue to build on this epic tribe that we have of healthy, wealthy, generous men and women that choose to live epic lives.
Look, you have been running David's organization, chief of staff. Another question I had, and it's funny, like when this news comes out, any community, right? There's everybody knows each other. My phone melted last night. I was on a date with my wife and she's like, can you just turn it over, please? Like, yeah, my bad. So I turned it over and got away from it. But a big question that honestly that came through and I had this was like, how the hell are you going to balance this? Like you do a lot of shit, right? You're involved in everything Osborne and now you've got the GoBundance CEO role. What's the plan there? How do you balance the two roles if you do it all?
I mean, you just do the best you can, right, in life. I mean, I'm going to try to balance the role I serve running David's family office, the role I serve running Champions, the role I'm going to serve running GoBundance, the role I'm supposed to serve as a husband, the role I'm supposed to serve as a father, the role I'm supposed to serve myself and being the healthiest version of me as possible, and just do the best I can. At the end of the day, one of the most beautiful things that I've learned sort of being raised in this tribe and growing up inside of GoBundance is the power of leverage And there's two forms of leverage, right? There's systems leverage and there's people leverage. And so I'm going to have to continue to become an expert at people leverage and system leverage in order to spread myself out like I'm going to be required to manage all the stuff that I'm doing. So really just being in business with really talented people, trusting really incredible people like yourself, Jamie, who serve multiple roles inside of the organization, in addition to being a member, leaning on the tribal council, which we haven't touched on yet, but we will, and getting their voice and making sure that we're, utilizing their genius to help implement things across the organization. And probably having a lot of days where my wife gets pissed. I'm sad I don't get to put my kids to bed, but I, do what I have to do. Prior to making this transition and choosing this, I had a deep conversation with my wife, and we sat down and talked about, okay, if we say yes to this opportunity, and yes, I said, if we say yes to this, because it's her and I as a team, what does this look like for our life, and what's important, and what are we going to have to think about? And, I'm going to need a little bit more help at home, and what does that look like? And at the end of the day, we decided that, this was best for our future, and we figured out a plan to help navigate it. And I'm sure it'll be a little rocky at times, but I'm going to put my head down. I'm going to roll up my sleeves. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to be, honest and transparent with her, with the organization, with the membership, with people outside of this group that I'm working with David, and ask for some grace for a couple months to get the transition done. But hopefully within the next 60, 90 days, we have really good people systems, really good systems in place that help me navigate this and manage it all at the same time.
What would you, there's questions about the tribal council popping up in the Facebook Live here. And guys, in Facebook Live, ask questions. I'm seeing them. If I might even duplicate a question that you answered already, Matt, because I'm distracted between the two. So apologies in advance, but ask questions here and I'll grab them. I'll get to the tribal council here in just a second because I am curious about that as well. But can you talk about, and I don't know if you've formed this yet, but maybe it's just some words or general thoughts, like what's the Matt King CEO campaign theme? Like what are some things that you're looking to embody as the CEO of GoBundance and where you see GoBundance going?
I'm just going to embody who I am, man. I would like to think that at my funeral, people will say that Matt King was humble. He was transparent. He was responsive. He was rooted in the pillars of GoBundance. He was a family man. He seeked and thrived on feedback. He implemented what he could. He avoided the echo chamber of his own bullshit to the best of his ability. And he just served his family and his community to the best of his ability. And so that's who I want to be as a human. That's who I want to be remembered as. And so that's exactly who I hope to embody as the leader of this organization.
Let's talk about the tribal council. What is it? Let's start with that. What is the tribal council? What's the intent for it? Is it a full decision-making authority, like they decide on everything? Or is it sort of, there's certain things we go to them with in this box, but otherwise you have day-to-day operating authority? What is this tribal council and how does it operate?
I would think of it as a board of directors for the CEO to bounce ideas off of and be held accountable by. I mean, I think at the end of the day, just like the elder said in the email, this is a member-led tribe. So what better way to have the members lead the tribe than an invited group to the tribal council that will be able to have a voice for the tribe, to be able to be heard, to be able to suggest feedback, to be able to have tough conversations with. And I'm going to look at it as a board of directors for me and for the elders and for the tribe. At the end of the day, I've been put in the position to run the day-to-day operations. And so not every decision is going to go to the board, and not every decision is going to go to the tribal council. But the big decisions, the tough conversations, I want to have members that are going to be impacted by whatever decision we make, give feedback and help us navigate the path forward the best we can. And so that's the sort of concept around the tribal council. And I'm super excited about it. It's something we've been working on for a few months now, and haven't announced just because we've been working a little bit behind the scenes on it, but I'm very excited about it. It was an idea that myself and the elders have come up with, and it's something I'm super passionate about. And I just couldn't be more excited to now be the one that is put in the position to present to the council and receive feedback from the council prior to implementing things into the tribe.
Was it just like a couple of examples, right? So member tuition, is that the sort of thing that goes to the council? Yeah. If there's
local groups, how do we maximize value inside of the local groups? What What do we do with the referral model? What kind of things do we want to have happen at events? Do we want to bring in Jesse Itzler to the Champions event, or do we want to keep it member-led, member-driven? Where do we go for the international trip? Obviously, Pat Hyben does an incredible job with the international trip, and we pull the tribe, and the tribe says where we're going to go. I mean, unfortunately, COVID killed Australia, but Pat doesn't just say, hey, we're going to Croatia, join if you're interested. He gets feedback from the organization, and the members say, we want to go to Croatia. And then you get 20 plus guys on a boat in Croatia for 2 weeks. So it's ideas like that. It's concepts like that.
There was a question here about, is there any, annual turn, I don't know if this is even thought through yet, but is there sort of hey, every 12 months, we're going to take a few members off, add a few members on, completely revamp it? Is there any thoughts around that? What does that look like?
Yeah, so one of the things I'm gonna propose at the tribal council meeting is, what is the tribal council? I have a vision for what it is going to become, and the elders have somewhat of a vision for what it's going to become. But at the end of the day, I want to hear feedback from the council of what should the council be. My vision is it's a appointed or elected role, that serves a 1 to 2 year term, and I hope we see transition. I hope we see cycles. I would love to see positions within the council. And Jamie, I haven't even really shared this with anybody, but my vision for where this tribe goes is we have a tribal council for the entire tribe. And then we have a council for each of the 6 pillars that reside, that are sort of the foundation of GoBundance. So we have a genuine contribution council. We have a bucket list adventure council. We have an extreme accountability council. I want the tribe to hold myself, the Go team, the leadership, and the members extremely accountable to every aspect of what GoBundance stands for and represents, which is the 6 pillars. And so if we can put a council in place to make sure that council oversees the genuine contribution, and we're fulfilling it to the highest and possible intent of this tribe, then I'm going to put a council in place that can do that. And so hopefully there's multiple councils, and the terms are like I said, 1 to 2 years, and everybody has an opportunity to hear and be heard. And it's just this thing that will sort of evolve over time, but that's my vision for it.
Got it. Question on the tribal council. There's a few of them in here, but this one coming from Ryan. You're allowing outside input from members. Would you consider input from everyone, polls, that sort of thing, to get input from everybody? I'm assuming from what you just said, that's a council level decision, correct? Whether they want to go out and seek input, or how they want to formally do that, or just thoughts on that?
Yeah, in the future it will be, but I personally will be seeking input from all of the members between now and when the tribal council meets. Just like when it was decided that I was going to be the human to fill this role, I polled the elders. I sent the elders a 6-question survey, and I sent it to some of the other people inside of the team, a survey of what are my blind spots? Where do you see this organization going? What do you think my issues are going to be? What do you want to see us change? What do we look like in 2025? Where could we do better? Where are we sucking? I'm constantly seeking feedback. I am, David always says this, and I learned this from him. I'm not the smartest guy in the room, and that is the greatest gift I have ever been given, because it forces me to seek the wisdom of others around me and be very open to receiving whatever they have to deliver, because I know I'm not the smartest human. And so I'm I'm going to ask everybody what their opinion is. One of the first surveys I want to send out to the tribe is, rank the pillars as you see them fit in your life from 1 to 6. What's the number 1? What's the number 6? And I will be fascinated to hear what comes back. If, genuine contribution is 1, or is it 6? And it's going to be different for every person. But when we look at the tribe as a whole, where do the pillars rank, and how are we serving each of those pillars? So Ryan, I'm going to be constantly seeking input from the members. And in the future, yes, Jamie, it will be okay, what do we want to ask the membership to the council? But between now and then, there'll be some things that roll out in the next few weeks where I am going to personally be seeking input from the members through surveys.
Makes sense. I think we hit all the tribal council questions, and maybe I can go back and see if we have any there. But Let's talk about, speaking of surveys, you surveyed the elders. I happen to know that because we talked about it, right? So you asked them, and this is like 2 days ago, right? So this is very, very recent. I don't even know if they've replied yet. So I don't know if you have an answer to this question, but what did you get from them? Because the questions you were asking were like, where do you see it going? What's success as a CEO in their mind? All of that. So where do you see it going? Where do they want it to go? What's the elders' feedback so far?
Yeah, they haven't all completed it because, like you alluded to.
Can you say who hasn't? Can we call out who hasn't? I'm just kidding.
I wish we could, man, but I wanted super candid feedback, so I didn't even put names on it. Now I'm fortunate that I work with all of them, and I've known them all for 7 years, so I know how they write and who knows how to spell this word or that word, and who doesn't. But honestly, the feedback from those who have replied was like all about just delivering value and creating a tribe and a brotherhood, like the tribe that stands tall. I mean, you've asked me some questions earlier, and I think the one thing I've become aware of over the last 48 hours is how strong this tribe is, member to member. Like the links that connect our members are so strong. The bonds that are formed inside of this tribe are so strong. And I think the feedback from the elders, parlays into that, which is we want to continue to strengthen those bonds, and success for the organization, success for the CEO in this role looks like delivering value, deepening relationships, focusing on the pillars, and just doing the best we can to make impacts on lives, families, and community.
You've also, I'm sure, received a lot of feedback from members as this announcement came out yesterday and everything like that. I know you did. Both our phones melted. Yours probably more than mine, I would assume. What is the membership saying to you? And then if you could, does it align with what you're hearing from the elders?
Yeah, it's aligned perfectly. It's kind of ironic. Honestly, most of the feedback I've received so far is like praise and congratulations. And we've seen what you've done inside of Champions, and we're super excited to see where you're going to take this. And I mean, I believe the year was 2013. I was working for Pat Hyben in DC, and he comes to me and says, "You're going to go to Orlando and you're going to work at this mastermind I own called GoBundance." I was 23 years old. I didn't even know, Jamie, what a mastermind was.
Yeah.
I had to look up on my iPhone, whatever, 1S or whatever the version was then, and it was like mastermind. I'm like, okay, group of businessmen that get together. Okay, sure, I'll do it. And he's like, you're going to stay in a 10-bedroom house. You're going to sleep on the couch. You're going to work 18 hours a day, but you're going to learn a lot. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll go. I mean, I played ping pong with Ricky Williams. I caddied for Rock Thomas and David Osborne. I sat in a room with people like, Dan Grebe and David Osborne and Gary Jonas, like all these incredible humans. I mean, I was 23 years old. I was just, I didn't even know, like I said, I didn't even know what a mastermind was. And so the feedback I've received from a lot of the members was like, we've seen you evolve. We've seen you grow. We've seen who you are as a human, and we've had a chance to get to know you. And we're very excited that you are the person stepping into this role. And we look forward to seeing where it goes. And the amount of people that have offered to help or provide input or be of service any way that I need has just been incredible. It's really, really cool.
Love it. All right. Let's I'm looking at questions in the chat. I'm going to grab one or two of these, and then I have a couple more I want to dive into. Biggest hurdles you see over the next 90 days or even the next 3 years?
The biggest hurdle I see over the next 90 days is just the market, honestly, just making sure our members know what's going on in the world around us. Inside of the tribe, I don't see many hurdles because I know who I am as a human, and I'll be honest, I'll be transparent, and we're going to listen. So I don't see hurdles from that perspective. I see hurdles in the marketplace. I mean, we're seeing shifting numbers already in David's businesses. And so I'm trying to figure out how we can best communicate and serve the tribe through this transition in the economy, and make sure that everybody's informed and sticking together and sort of not delusional that this cigar butt's going to continue to burn like it has over the last 2 years.
Question about the levels. So you kind of have emerge, ascend, you got elite, you got champion. Do you see any changes, additions to levels, changes to the leveling, anything like that in the near future?
That's a decision that the elders and the council will make. I've got some ideas and some thoughts around it. I would say in the near term, no, but that certainly is a conversation that the council and the elders will have over the next 2 years.
One thing, and I want to get into a kind of a lightning round of things that people have loved, things that people maybe not have loved. So we're going to dive into the nitty gritty of day to day and just get your thoughts to whatever extent you're able to provide them. But talk about Champion for a second, because there's been a lot of buzz about what's happened in Champion. I was in San Fran. That event was amazing. I had to miss Atlanta, which I heard was equally amazing. Austin's filling up quick. You got Jesse Itzler, Preston Smiles, and his wife coming. And I know you've got a lot of plans for that event. I'm excited to go to that. So tell me about Champion. What's been the thing that's been, I don't know, implemented or that you've been putting in place in Champion so that maybe all of GoBundance has a sense of where you go or where you may eventually go as you dig in?
So given that I was at early events back in 2013, I saw what made the tribe so powerful then, and it was member-led, member-driven conversation in a vulnerable environment and a sort of an NDA type environment where people could be real and they could put stuff on the table and say, I need help, or I'm crushing it, or what should I be doing? And so what we've implemented inside of the Champions is we're going to lead with value. We're going to deliver as much value as possible. We have 2 researchers on staff currently that generate a newsletter on a monthly basis called The Alpha that is going out to all of the Champion members, research-based articles on what's going on in the economy and the world and how to maybe think about playing them. We're having Zoom calls. We're having member-to-member conversations. We're sort of improving the GoPod process for the champions to make sure that those are at the highest and best level. So just leading with value, and mostly this is a tribe of really incredible, I mean, I know this can be public, but badass dudes, man. Like, this is an incredible group of humans that are all geniuses in different areas. And we don't really need to go outside of the tribe often to bring in some incredible perspectives, some incredible ideas, and some incredible action items. And so what we've done in the Champions is we just highlighted the members to focus on, hey, where are you a genius? Where are you crushing it? And how can you pour the lessons you've learned and the things you've mastered into the other folks inside of the room, inside of the Zoom call, inside of this tribe, so that they can go faster and make less mistakes.
Yeah.
And so that's the goal.
Yeah. The events, like I said, the events have been really, really good. And I've heard a lot of feedback from guys around the enhancements made, if you will, in the Champion group. Just the shift. I think the shift of the member driven piece has been really, really well received. So good for you. And I'm sure we'll see a lot of that as we go through all of GoBundance here. Micro tribes, local chapters, like the values there, right? There's a ton of value in GoBundance. You know, there's a lot of stories. I'm one of them of the levels I didn't know I could attain, thanks to being a part of this incredible community, being around the guys and all that good stuff. Fear of becoming corporate, currency versus culture. So maybe just like a final stamp on this part. I think we've kind of beat it up a bit, but that's a phrasing I've heard. Fear of going corporate, culture versus currency. Thoughts on that?
I mean, if you know me, I'm the furthest thing from corporate that you'll find. I didn't graduate college. I won't dress up. I wear a t-shirt pretty much every single day, whether it's black or white. That's the only decision I have to make. Culture is going to be super important to me. That's just how I was born and raised in a small town in Wisconsin. That is not a concern for me because I'm not going to be a corporate guy, and I know that we're not a corporation. And I may use the word organization from time to time, and I know it's not the best word to identify the tribe. But we're a tribe, and we're a brotherhood, and I would say we're a brotherhood over a corporation all day, and we will continue to be that.
Got it. Getting too big, the growth of the tribe. What are thoughts there? Just generally, maybe you want to talk about growth.
Yeah, so I was thinking about this question because I knew it would come up, and I honestly, I hate doing this, but I honestly want to bounce it back to you, Jamie. You're a member inside of this organization. And I don't remember when exactly you joined, but I would bet we were somewhere around 150 to 200 members when you joined.
Yeah.
What do you think about growth?
I'll be honest, I'm a pro growth guy, and some people might say, well, you're an ambassador. That's kind of it. But honestly, like, I don't meet Mark Henteman and partner with him if we don't grow to whatever he was, 600 or 700. I don't meet Eric Quinn. Eric Quinn came down here to the Dominican. We had a great time. He and I have connected on a couple of different things. We were both flying into LA. He was meeting with Tom Bilyeu. I'm going to the Seth MacFarlane party. We're getting some accountability. Like, that dude's amazing. And just to get around him, I wouldn't have been able to if we didn't grow. I think if you're member 400, you don't like the member 500s here. But if you're member 500, you don't like the member 600s here, right? Like I'm a fan of growth. I do think that we have to be clear on vetting. I think we have to make sure we're letting the right people in, not just growth for the sake of growth. And I do think that chunking it down, whether it's, localized events, local chapters, micro tribes, expanding that model, maybe supporting that model a bit more. I think keeping small. Well, you told me about the book Small Church. What is it called? Church groups.
Sticky churches.
Sticky churches, yeah, where essentially people come to the church for one reason, but they stay for the small groups, right? Like, so I think more is better. Personally, I think more is better as long as it's not just a what's the phrase, like a pig pen, like just a whole bunch of guys. Correct. like wow, where do I go now? Like I look at what's happening in our Michigan local chapter. I talk to a lot of local chapters. Like Florida has got a chapter and then chapters within the chapter that are really engaged and they do a lot of shit locally. I mean, you see it. So I don't know, man. I think this is my opinion. I think it's easy when you're in to say we should stop. I think it's harder, to maybe look at like, well, shit, if this person didn't join after me, then this wouldn't have happened in my life. And there's just too many stories like that for me to be against growth. So that's my thoughts. Correct. I don't know where you want to go with that.
Yeah, no, I think that's perfect. And that is very similar to how I would answer it. I would say that the tribe is going to continue to focus on growth because through growth, we can bring in more like-minded individuals. We can impact more lives and we can, create more opportunities for everybody inside of the organization. What I'm going to focus on is how to make opportunity for intimate, deep conversations to occur inside of a growing organization. So the champions, you asked what we've done there, capping those events at 75 people has really provided that intimate environment, that sort of pressure cooker, if you will, that I think the anti-growth people will say they want. And so we'll create opportunities like that where maybe I fly to Atlanta on a Wednesday night, we host a dinner, and then we host 30 people for just a half-day mastermind of like, this is just members having conversations in an intimate setting. And in those opportunities, the value of growth is you might get a new local guy who's done some really epic things that can deliver some great value to that meeting. The anti-growth side would say, but there's only 30 people in that meeting. Their growth doesn't matter to that meeting. So I think we're going to be able to sort of combat that conversation by delivering more intimate, valuable conversations and environments for those conversations to be had.
Love it. All right. What else did I have here? Events being speaker heavy. This is, again, feedback I've gotten about things that, maybe some feedback for improvement, or at least for some folks. Events being speaker heavy. You've kind of touched on it, but if you want to just kind of dive into that a bit.
Yeah, I mean, look what we've done with the champions. That was the feedback we've heard, and we took that and we went as extreme as having no speakers in San Francisco outside of a fireside chat with Exhibit to now in Austin this December. We're going to do a little combination of a couple speakers and then member-led facilitated conversation and masterminding. So, I think there's a beautiful mix, and you're never going to make everybody happy. And I totally understand that. You're going to focus too much on family, and there's going to be somebody in the tribe that doesn't have family there. You're not going to focus on family enough, and there's going to be somebody in the tribe there that has some family issues and wants to focus on family. So I know that I'm never going to please everybody, but I'm going to do the best I possibly can to make sure our recipe at these events, in these conversations, in these masterminds is the recipe that the elders created when they went to the Tomatina tomato fight back in the day, or when they hiked Kilimanjaro. We're going to go back to the recipe they used, and that's my main objective. And so we will bring in some speakers, we will bring in some experts, but we will offset that with a lot of member-to-member conversation, masterminding, and camaraderie.
Like the draw to GoBundance for me was the network, so that extreme accountability, right? Like, the stories you always hear, how you got your ass kicked in a one sheet, right? Those are the stories we love to tell. Like, man, I was playing small, this, that, and the other, this person called me out. Or the other story is, man, I got to go hang with Robert Kiyosaki or Ed Milet or whoever it was at a specific event. So that, all of the pillars are important. I think the draw for GoBundance and where you feel like it's special is the accountability and the adventure part, if you will, like adventure being the speakers and the bucket list sort of life sort of things that happen. So I definitely, I love what you just said. I think having that accountability in place at these events, along with like that person I could write home about, like we like to talk about, like, hey, I just met Ed Milet, whoever it was, is pretty cool. I think those are two big pieces of what I've gotten feedback on, at least from a lot of people. Let's talk about a couple of other initiatives that have been, I think, well received recently, and just get your thoughts. So there has been an announcement of enhanced member referral credit, which honestly, I think this is something that you want to talk about growing, but growing with quality growth is get members to refer friends, right? So it's $1,000 right now to any member and credit toward an event or toward future tuition that refers a friend, at least for the next 2 months. Is that, I don't know, is that staying going? Thoughts on that? That was just one thing I typed down here.
Yeah, we'll be able to let you guys know after the council meets in December.
I love that. That's going to be your go-to. I love it. That's the go-to answer.
I know. My scapegoat. Wait till I tell my wife that. Let me go ask the council what they said, and I'll get back to you.
I like it. Spartan race, partnerships, that sort of thing. That's been well received. I mean, do you see anything changing with that at this point, or?
No, I don't see anything changing with that. That's one of the things I haven't had the opportunity to roll up my sleeves and really get into, but it seems to be working. It seems to be really, really well received by both sides. I'm not looking to change this whole thing up. I mean, if it works, I'm not going to change it. Don't break it.
Got it. We're getting some feedback in the group about couples events, 12-month calendar, well received.
What's fascinating, Jamie, is that this whole concept of couple events. So there's like 30% of the memberships that says we want more couples events. And then you pull those 30% and only 50% of those 30% say, hey, I want to bring my spouse to this event. So we're in Atlanta, and I was like talking to the guys. I'm like, hey, would you want to bring your spouse? It's like, oh my gosh, this place is epic. I've sent her some pictures. Would love to bring her. Then we send the post-event survey out, and like, next year, would you like this to be the location for the couples event? Guys that looked at me and said, I want to bring my wife here, literally said, no, I don't want to have a couples event. So it's a delicate balance. And that's a great topic that I'm going to lean on the council heavily to focus on, is like, how do we integrate couples events? How do we integrate spouses? Do we not? Where does that exist? And how do we do that? So that's a fascinating one for me.
Alvin wants a Spartan event in Sparta. That would be an epic adventure.
That would be cool.
That's pretty cool, actually. Yeah, I don't know if you were joking, Alvin, but that's a really good idea. On the couples events, just a quick, I think this year, I know this year we had 4 all GoBundance events, right? And part of that was feedback. I remember the feedback around, we're growing so much, we want to have like more niche events. So we put out 4 events, and then people were like, it's too many events. So you're right. It is that delicate balance of knowing, like, is it just sort of like a throw-in feedback, or is it something people I didn't know that about the couples. Like, couples events.
Yeah, that's cool.
Your wife? Hell no.
Yeah. No, I don't want to bring her here. This was epic. I'm like, wait,
crazy.
But that's life, right? And that's my job as the leader of GoBundance, is to make sure that we have a buffet available and readily choosable by our members at any given time. Not everybody's going to want the salad, and not everybody's going to want the steak, but both of them are going to be there because somebody may want this, somebody may want that, and somebody might want both. And so that's just a delicate balance that I'm going to have to continue to navigate and lean on the elders and lean on the members and lean on the council a lot about, because I think you need optionality, and you need members to be able to choose their own journey or their own path through the tribe.
Couple final questions, and maybe a few more if you guys have them. Pop them in. I'm happy to grab them. Boiling it down, what excites you most over the next year or so about GoBundance, about this role, about GoBundance in general, of the tribe, what you're going to be doing, where we're going? What excites you most?
I think what excites me most is this tribe is already incredibly strong and powerful. And we have an opportunity to strengthen it and deepen the relationships in what looks to be a tough economic time ahead of us. And if we can band together as brothers, not to have some play on words with the show, but if we can band together as brothers and help each other navigate the shift, those bonds, those relationships are only going to go deeper. We're only going to be able to impact more lives. We're only going to be able to be better husbands and fathers. And I think the most exciting thing for me, honestly, Jamie, is to see how powerful this tribe is. Brother to brother, men to men, woman to woman, peer to peer. It is unbelievably incredible to see the camaraderie and the relationships and the bonds created inside of GoBundance and from the accountability that GoBundance has delivered.
Love it. The other question that's popped up a couple of times, actually a new one popped up. I think I'll ask that. That might be a non-recorded one here, but another question that has popped up, and it's a great question. And I think this speaks to Matt. This question's been asked 2 or 3 times in the chat. I think this speaks to you being who you are, sort of, part of the culture of GoBundance and all of that stuff. But everyone's asking how they can support you. What do you need from us as a tribe, as a community over the next, 90 days or forward? Yeah. What do you think?
Feedback and grace. I would love to hear people's feedback. I'd love to hear people's opinion, and I need grace that we're not going to be able to change the direction of the ship instantly. Some of the ideas will take a little bit of time to implement. We're not going to be able to implement everything. Just grace that we're doing the best we can to serve the tribe and the members the best we possibly can. And we're not going to get it perfect. We're going to make mistakes. There's going to be things you're frustrated with. Come to me. Let's have a conversation. Be candid. Be polite. I don't need people to be rude, but if you want to be rude, be rude. It doesn't bother me too much. But just have some grace and just give me feedback. The more feedback, the better.
Suggestions coming through from people. We can capture all of this, see the comments, Matt, and get this over to Melanie, I guess, right? We could probably just, there's suggestions about access to member benefits like health insurance via GoBundance, especially for those who have
that's fascinating. Yeah, we'll have a call next week on that. I think there's a lot of member benefits that I want to really focus on that can help our members better make decisions, whether it's umbrella insurance, whether it's health benefits for their team, whether it's 401k plans, whether it's life insurance. We have a tribe of incredibly successful, hard-charging, amazing humans with big balance sheets and big businesses. Can we snap everybody together to have some clout inside of the industry we want to go attack and get member benefits for? And can we go get member benefits vetted for members so they can say, ooh, this is an umbrella insurance policy put together by GoBundance. Pat has it, David has it, Tim has it, Mike McCarthy has it. It's $20 million and it's $11,000 a year for me. And GoBundance has put this up on a tee for me. All I have to do is sign up. Those are my initiatives that I want to attack quickly because I think that's very easy to address.
I love it, man. I love it. People are applauding that for sure. Just looking at some comments. Muchastegi popped in. Matt's the perfect choice for new CEO. So some kudos from a local guy to you right now. Grant wants to know who's going to MC the events. Do you have any sense of that right now?
Yep. I don't have that answer yet, but that will be something that we focus on in the next couple of weeks is how that works going forward. And I'll be able to answer that better, Grant, in the next couple of weeks.
Makes sense. Was something else back here that I saw? Can you repeat where we are at? Just join. Yeah, Robert, go back and watch from the beginning, Robert. A lot of questions get asked repeatedly on Facebook. It'll be great to save some of those common questions and replies saved in one place. That's a good idea. The one thing too, guys, I do this all the time. Go to the top. Like people ask me sometimes like, hey, do you know anybody that's doing anything in this particular industry? I'll go into the Facebook group. There's a search bar. I'll type in that industry and then I'll reply to them like, yeah, this guy is. Because I just search the key term and it'll pop up with like a post from a year ago or whatever. So do that. But I do like the idea of distracting them. Yeah.
So one of the things we've done inside of the champions and we'll continue to do inside of the elites is we're taking like frequently asked questions and frequently recommended resources. And we're putting them into a place where members can go access them. So like, what's the best infrared sauna to buy? That's like a conversation that keeps popping up all over the place. We're going to have a resource page where you go and go, what's the best infrared sauna? And you'll see all of the comments, all of the opinions, all of the feedback. And you'll be able to say, ooh, the clear light sauna, that's the best one. And I should buy this extra additional light because, X, Y, and Z, or who's the best, law firm for securities, or who's the best law firm for golden handcuffs, or who's the best CPA to navigate a big gain from the sale of a business, or how do I do 1031s? A resource where members have already provided suggestions and referrals and feedback. We're going to take that and put that into a place where members can go access at any time.
Daniel, great. That's a great suggestion, man. I like that. I like that idea a lot. And that sounds like, Matt, what you're already doing over in the champion group. So we'll see that expanded a bit. Cool. If there's no other questions, look, this is a podcast. It's going to be. So I got to end it with a question from the GoBundance card game, which I think Pat came up with the questions. Or maybe Pat came up with them. Did he come up? But Mike McCarthy said he might have. Yeah. Mike
Pat
softened
came up with it, and Mike, I think Pat, because I believe I was working for Pat when he came up with it, and some of the questions were so freaking blunt that I was uncomfortable even sending them to the lady who made the damn cards. I was like, oh my God, you asked that? Let's do it. Let's do the cards.
All right, 7 of clubs. Forever, is that a club? 7 of spades. I always get clubs and spades confused. Okay. Here's the question. If you could share any experience with any person, living or deceased, who would it be and what would you do?
Living or deceased, who would it be and what would I do? Man, that is such a loaded question. Honestly, it's going to be a weird answer. Both of my parents and my wife's parents don't live in Austin. And I think if I could go back and share any one experience, it would be them being in the hospital when both of our children were born. They were on flight coming to us.
Sure.
And so they weren't there. I mean, this is how much David and Tracy and GoBundance, but this is how much David and Tracy mean to me and my family. David married us. His daughter was our flower girl. His son was our ring bearer. Tracy was the first person to meet our daughter. David was the second person to meet our daughter. And they were both the first people to meet our son. And I'll be forever grateful for that. But I think I would have loved to have run out of the delivery room and hugged my mom and my dad and my mother-in-law and my father-in-law while the baby was still just coming out, and celebrate that moment with them. We still had a beautiful moment. I'm forever grateful for that. But that would have been really special to have them there with us in that moment.
Great answer, man. Great answer. I love it. And for those still in the live chat, still got 50 strong, man. You kept them. You kept their attention.
Oh. You did. You're great. You're great at this. Incredible question. Incredible question asker.
Would love to hear any last bits, any last feedback, any last thoughts, anything. No more questions. We're done with the questions, but anything else you guys want to drop in? Because Matt can read these after, if you want to encourage him, you have an idea, whatever, drop it in the chat real quick and, give some loves and likes to let Matt know how you feel about, him coming on as the CEO of GoBundance going forward. And we'll go. Did you have something you were going to say, Matt?
Yeah, the last thing I would just say is, man, the role was filled by Rock Thomas. It was filled by Mike McCarthy. It was filled by Dirk Van Reen. It was filled by Chris Ryan. I'm so lucky to look back and see what all of these incredible leaders and humans have done for the tribe, for the brotherhood, for the membership inside of this organization. And I hope I can just continue to build off of the epic tribe that the elders and those leaders have built here. And I'm excited to see what we can do moving forward.
Man, I have no doubt that you will. Honestly, I'm very excited about you. Again, we've gotten to know each other quite a bit over the last couple of years. So,
yes.
Bull riding incident aside, I won't.
I'm doing it again, dude. It's going to be a GoBundance event now.
A GoBundance bull ride. There was somebody in here that made the suggestion about, I forget who it was, hey, I don't need the 5-star retreats. I want more of the gritty, backwoods, diving out of planes.
Exactly what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Exactly what we're going to do.
I saw that as well.
We're not going to the 5-star hotel at the Jackson Hole Resort. We're going to the ranch in Jackson Hole, and we're going to learn how to herd cattle riding horses and do some crazy epic things that we can't do in our day-to-day lives.
Guys, some of these guys are getting older, man. You got to be careful. We're getting brittle.
All right, dude. Age-defying health. It's just a number.
Great point. Great point. Just see if there's anything. GoBro Fight Club. That would be good. Lyle's got an intimidating beard, though, so I don't know if I would want that. Do you have a
Camille would be good at that, man.
What's that?
Camille would be good at the Fight Club. Have you ever seen Camille fight? His video?
Video, yeah, no, but not live. But it's just Camille's got that big smile. But besides that, I would not want to bump into that guy in a dark alley.
I tried to talk Camille into riding bulls with me, and instead of doing that, he sent me a video of his daughter watching the PBR and being the incredible dad he is. He had a belt around his chest. He was on his hands and his knees, and he was the bull and she was the rider, and they were reenacting. I mean, I was like, that was close to what I did, but you should still ride the bull, Camille. He said no.
Lyle shaved. That's not a good thing. Sorry to hear that, Lyle. I love that beard. Tree asked, do you have a Calendly to schedule meet and greets? It's actually a good question. How do guys reach out?
Yeah, I don't have a Calendly. I am terrible at keeping consistency in my schedule. I like to adjust things too much to have a Calendly. My email is just matt@gobundance.com. Our team will help get a call scheduled. I'm happy to give people 15 minutes of my time. And I just ask for grace. It might not be next week or the following week because there's a bunch of things I need to dig into right away and roll up my sleeves on. But happy to make time for anybody and have conversations and just shoot me an email and we'll get something set up.
I wonder if we could make it standard for members to do a long intro so that when other members want to find somebody to connect, there is an easy mechanism built in. I have
great thing to talk about. So one of the things we've implemented in the champions, and we're going to be doing something similar in elites, is we have a concierge get on the call with them. We do what's called the JOT form. So what's your superpower? What do you need help with? All of these questions. And my vision is we build baseball cards for the members where you can search them and go, okay, I want to get into self-storage. You search self-storage and Chris Benson comes up, or Sergio comes up, or whoever is in that industry comes up. You want to learn about foreclosures, Aaron Amuchastegui comes up. You want to buy a commercial roofing business, Camille pops up. You want to, learn about 7 to 8, Aaron and Daniel pop up and you can ask them about 7 to 8. So those are all things we're going to work on, and we'll need a little bit of time, but we're working on that stuff. Those are my vision.
Love it, man. You got people thumbs up on that too. So I think that makes a ton of sense. Lyle, great suggestion, brother. Matt, appreciate you, man. Thanks for jumping on. Thanks for being a killer.
Thank you for doing this.